under the lights and on stage, designed to educate and entertain. On this edition of Art Now, we'll feature 3 special artists in the field of theater and dance. 2 of them have been involved with the Urbana Park District Youth Summer Theater Program over the past 15 years, and our 3rd guest is at the beginning of her career. On July 30th, July 31st, August 1st, and August 2nd, they'll take over the stage at the Urbana High School Auditorium to perform Annie.
Today's episode of Art Now will feature 3 artists who are specialists in the field of theater and dance. 2 of them have been involved with the Urbana Park District Summer Youth Theater for maybe more than 15 years, and our 3rd guest is beginning her career with the Summer Art Theater program. In fact, all 3 of them, at one time or another, played in the musical Annie, which is going to be the production that the Urbana Park District Summer Theater is going to be presenting this summer. On July 30th, August 1st, and August 2nd, Annie will be produced right here in the Urbana High School Theater.
And July 31st.
And July 31st.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
So
it's not on the Park District website. So anyway, we're happy to have them here, and I want you to meet them. We have April Cleveland, and we have Veronica Bechtel, and we have Jennifer Bechtel. And we're so happy to have all of you on here with us to be on Art Now.
Thank you for having us.
Well, we're glad to have you here. April, I understand that you used to live in Champaign-Urbana and participated in the theater when you were younger, and then your family moved to California, but you made it back in the summer to participate in the Summer Youth Theater. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I started as a participant with the Urbana Park District Youth Summer Theater when I was 10, I believe. And that program is for roughly 9 through 18-year-olds, so 9 through just finishing high school. And even though my family moved to California when I was 15, I was able to make every production out here, so that I was a part of every production until I graduated high school, even though I was a California graduate.
Well, that's great. It's wonderful to have you come back, and we're glad to have you back here now. I understand you're the director of Annie for this year's production. Mm-hmm. And that's great. And then we'll talk with Jennifer. Jennifer, you have had quite a career in the theater too. You're the choreographer for this production of Annie.
I am.
But you've had quite a career before that in theater and writing and acting in plays. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your career?
Sure. I started participating in theater as an actor when I was about 7 years old. And in a production of Annie, I played the role of Molly at the Sunshine Dinner Theater, which used to be in Champaign. And so I did that whole summer and got the bug, I guess they say, and just had to do as much theater as I possibly could. And so I wrote a lot. I acted in whatever I could get my hands on, and eventually found my way to the Urbana Park District Youth Theater program when it was getting started. So I started as a participant in that program, and then I went on to be assistant choreographer for a production. I did props for a production there, and then went to college and studied secondary education, English, but also studied drama and theater and acting. And when the program was in a transition of leadership, the woman who started the program called me up and said, I think you should apply for the director position. And I was in my early 20s and thought, you're a crazy person. There's absolutely no way that I can do that. I directed 2 shows at that point in college and relatively small casts. And she says, no, I think you're ready. I think you should do this. And so I applied and got the job, and it was a wonderful experience. And I had the honor of directing the program for 8 years. And that's how I met April and directed her in many productions through Urbana Park District, but also was able to direct her in a show on campus And she really started to become a part of our family as she was coming back during the summers. And so, you know, we were lucky enough to be able to include her not just in our theater circle, but also in our family circle.
Oh, that's wonderful. Wonderful to have that relationship.
Yeah.
And Veronica is here with us. We're happy to have you with us, Veronica.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Tell us the role that you're playing in this production of Annie.
I'm playing Tessie.
Okay. And do you, what all do you do as playing Tessie?
I have lines and I get to dance and I get to sing in it.
Oh, that's wonderful. What do you prefer the most?
I like acting better.
Okay, that's great. Is this fun to go to the rehearsals?
Yeah, it's really fun.
What's the most interesting thing about the rehearsals?
I have no idea. I like everything.
That's great. That's wonderful. Well, that's good. I understand that April is practically a member of your family because she's been coming back and staying with you and involved in your family. Is that true?
Yeah.
Do you think she has a big influence on your career? You think you'll go into acting like she is and your mom?
Maybe.
I hope so. Exactly. Well, Veronica, what do you prefer? Do you prefer Jennifer, I'm sorry. Jennifer, do you prefer the acting or directing or the writing of plays?
Right now I do a lot more writing and directing than I do acting, but I do miss acting. It's just that, you know, I'm most drawn at this point to directing and writing.
Okay, now you have written a movie and had it produced. Would you like to tell us a little bit about the movie that you wrote and produced and directed?
Yeah, I actually started off writing, I co-wrote a movie called Leading Ladies that is now available all over the place. It's played at festivals all over the country and around the world. I co-wrote that with a good friend of mine, and she and her husband produced and directed it. And then I went on to write, produce, and direct a feature film called Scary Normal. And April is one of the leading ladies in that. And it's sort of a family coming-of-age story about a teenage girl who her stepdad makes these crazy independent horror movies and he embarrasses her, and she just wants to be seen as normal or sort of disappear into the background, and she can't do that with her wacky family. And then she befriends a young woman at her high school who recently got kicked out of her house when she came out as a lesbian to her parents. And through their friendship, she comes to understand the value of having people in your life who love you unconditionally and who understand you and who help you become who you are. And I was very, very lucky to work with many of the actors that I had seen grow up through the Urbana Park District program in that film.
Really?
And you know, many of them give really wonderful performances in that, including April. And that was Veronica's first movie as well. She's one of the extras in that. She plays one of the trick-or-treaters in a little montage scene in that.
That's great.
And she has been lucky through the Pens to Lens program to have lots of opportunities to be in front of the camera since then as well.
Well, that's great. So have you been in some short films, Veronica?
Yeah.
Okay, do you enjoy doing those? What's the best part about acting?
The best part is that like people get to see what you're doing. And
Do you like to play the roles of different people,
yeah.
different children? That's great. That's good. So do you think you'll continue in this career of acting?
Yeah.
Maybe writing, writing some plays and dancing? That sounds wonderful. So what kind of things have you been doing lately? Keeping up with the theater? I know you're doing a lot of theater work.
Yeah. Well, other than directing Annie when I'm in Santa Fe, so my family moved to California, but now I'm at school at a school called St. John's College in Santa Fe, New Mexico,
Okay.
which is beautiful. And so when I'm not in school, my job is a singing waiter. So I work at a restaurant called La Casa Sena in the cantina, and I sing Broadway songs on a stage
Great.
every night. And when I'm not up there singing, I'm waiting on people and serving food. So that's fantastic. And I'm about to be a senior in college, so I'm thinking about grad school, and I'm meditating on whether whether directing is what I'm gonna do
Right.
forever, because there are a lot of choices out there. I study math and science, so that's an option, but something about directing and acting, I can't get it out of my head, so.
Well, we're certainly glad you come back to Urbana to participate in these summer youth theater productions. I
Best
think
part
that's,
of my year.
Is that right? That's wonderful. Well, we're glad to have you come back to Urbana too. How many people are in this production of Annie that you're doing?
We've got
All of them, right?
all of them, all the people. We have, I believe our cast is 96.
Wow, that is fabulous to expose that many people to the summer theater program.
It is, and what's neat about our program is we're a no-cut theater program. So anyone who auditions between the eligible ages is guaranteed to be cast in the show, either in the ensemble, so in the chorus, or with a speaking role. So it's pretty thrilling to get to work with people who have no experience, and then we have people, I'm working with a girl who just graduated high school who's been doing our program since she was 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, she was one of those, like, that gets in special.
Yeah.
Because when she was right on the line to being old enough, and we sort of made a special arrangement for her to come in, and has done it ever since. And she's just a phenomenal talent, a wonderful dancer and actress and singer, and just a wonderful human being, and a great writer, and brilliant mind, and all of those great things as well.
That's wonderful. I think this Urbana Park District Summer Theater is a great experience, isn't it, for all the children as they grow through the different years and have different talents and can be exposed to dance or acting,
Well, I think
directing.
it says something important that the people who are on the creative staff, most of the people have been involved in the program since they were little kids.
Really?
So Stephen Larson, he's been our music director for several years. This year he's not, because he's going to grad school in Chicago, but he was in Annie when Jen directed. I was Annie, and he was Mr. Warbucks when we were young. And now he is a music teacher at Central High School and music directed for us for
A lot of years.
A lot of years.
Right.
Yeah, and Jen grew up in the program. I grew up in the program. My little sister started doing the program when she was 4 somehow, and she's now stage managing. My other stage manager was in the program, and it just kind of goes on and on. Somehow it's like a lifelong program
Right.
for a lot of people. It's amazing.
It's wonderful.
And one of the things that I love about it, on that, sort of extending that, is that it includes people not just from Urbana, but from Champaign, Urbana, and the surrounding communities. So a lot of times, really talented people who are very passionate about theater end up doing theater at their middle school or their high school, and they meet their one little circle of friends, and they work with them for 4 years or 6 years or 7 years or however long, and they know that group of people. This extends their network of people that they know and that they're connected to. It broadens it age-wise, so you see kids from very, very young to very, very old who, well, I mean, not very old, but, you know, their senior year in high school, who are connected, who feel like a family, within a wide variety of different communities. We bring in people from Tolono and St. Joe, and we've had people come from as far as Tuscola to participate in California.
We've met Tune this year.
So yeah, so the people who wouldn't normally get the opportunity to connect with each other, suddenly their world has gotten bigger, and they look out for each other, and you know, you see people connecting then outside of this context as well, and going to see each other's shows. And you'll see, you know, at any of the high school shows, you'll see a big pocket of UPD kids coming to cheer on the kids that they've been in shows with. So it's kind of cool in that way as well. It builds a community.
That's great. And over the years, it continues on then. It's not just a one summer thing where they get together, but they probably come back year after year to participate in it too. Yeah, this is terrific. Yeah. Well, great. Well, Veronica, do you think you'll continue this career of dancing and acting like your mom and April have been talking about?
I hope so.
Good. And have you made a lot of new friends in the rehearsals for this production?
Yeah.
Are they from all over people that you might not have met? Maybe they're from different schools and different towns. Right. Is there anybody special you met that you'd like to tell us about?
You think Alora's pretty cool, don't you?
Yeah.
Tell us about Alora. What part is she playing?
She's playing Annie.
Oh.
And when April told me to go over and work with Alora and her, I got to dance with Alora.
Really? Wow. So will we be able to see that at the production then? When we come?
April was taking pictures, and so it might be on the poster.
Oh, really? Oh, well, we will certainly look for that. That will be terrific.
One of the cool things as a parent and as someone who cares a lot about the development of students through the program is I like to see how people in this program grow from, being in the ensemble or being in the chorus, being a featured dancer, having a smaller part with a couple lines, and really learning a lot from that experience, and coming back the next summer and being stronger and better and more confident, and sort of moving up and getting bigger roles, more challenging roles along the way. And Alora is a really great example of someone who, she was a featured dancer when we did Anything Goes, and she worked her tail off, and she was someone who everyone knew was going to be there, working really hard and learning a lot every single rehearsal. And to see her come back and truly earn the role of Annie, earn this coveted role in musical theater, in a way that there was absolutely no question. I mean, she was Annie, is always so exciting from the standpoint of watching that development happen. And even April, I talked to her about one of the reasons that she started getting significant roles in productions was she had a featured chorus role when we did The Wiz, and I said, when you were in the chorus, you were on to an extent where anyone watching you would know you were completely engaged in that moment, and you worked like you were a lead. And then in the reverse of that, when she's in a lead role, she works like she's in the back row of the chorus trying to prove herself. There's that sense of constantly learning and constantly growing in performance. And those are the exciting performers to work with, and I think that this is a program that nurtures that.
Oh, that's good to know. Yeah. So we see a lot of high achievers then as time goes on. They achieve these goals that they're working towards. Yeah,
definitely.
So you see a lot of this going on too, and as you're directing these, all the people in it. Well, it sounds like a wonderful program. It's been going on. I don't know how long it's been going on with the Urbana Park District, but
this is the 23rd production.
Is it? Yeah. And you've done...
I could name them all, but
Well, name some of the ones that you directed for us, Jennifer.
I did The Wiz and Annie. I wrote an original musical called Kala with a good friend of mine who's a composer in Chicago named Drew Edwards, who I met through this program when we were in high school. We did a show called Starmites, which is this fun, comic book rock musical that nobody's ever heard of, but everybody should have. It's lots of fun.
It did win a Tony.
Lots of fun. It did, and then it disappeared. But it's really fun. We did Into the Woods. We did Once on This Island. We did Honk. We did Seussical. Yeah, I'm missing things in there, but
exactly. That's wonderful. And you've worked together so nicely over the years. That's terrific.
Yeah, forever.
And forever. And Veronica's joined you now, and I know that I can tell you're happy to be part of this group, aren't you?
Yeah.
Exactly.
She really started out in this program in utero because I directed Into the Woods while I was very, very, very pregnant with her. I know there aren't gradations of pregnant, but anyone who could see me at that moment, the parents were taking bets as to whether I was going to make it to opening night. She was born about a week after we closed the show. And so she was
She's been
in the
involved.
program before she was even on the planet officially. So, and that was April's final show as a performer in this program. So,
Well, that's great. Well, it's sure nice to have you back as director,
Thank you.
and nice to have you back as the choreographer,
thank you.
and nice to have you back as one of the performers, dance, acting, and singing. I know we're all going to be looking forward to the production of this version of Annie, and as I said, it will be performed right here in the Urbana High School Theater on July 30th, 31st, August 1st, and August 2nd. And there's more information about this production on the Urbana Park District website if you want to see that. And so thanks again for coming and being with us on Art Now. We appreciate it, and best of luck to all of you. I should say break a leg, right?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that is the end of our episode Art Now, and I'm Ginny Waaler, and we hope to see you again along the way.